Hello and welcome to another beautiful day right here on Oweleke TV, reaching you live and direct from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nigeria. Welcome to Newspaper Review. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, I have Antonia Nwokolo. Good morning, Antonia.
Good morning, Ramsey.
And good morning, Michael
Good morning,
Ekene.
sir. She's been outnumbered today.
She's been outnumbered like yesterday, like the day before yesterday.
Like every day.
Like every other day.
It's not going to be.
You know,
constant,
there was a time that I said what you just said, and in a very short time, I was being outnumbered. That's it.
Yes,
So anyone can be outnumbered at any time. Quickly to the headlines for today, beginning from the Guardian newspaper this morning. The kicker says MPC outcome, CBN guns for stable currency, FPIs as rates hike halts businesses. That's the big story from the Guardian newspaper, and other stories that I have here. APC dismisses major talks as Obi visit LP secretariat. Details read on page 6. Again, Labour rejects 54,000 naira minimum wage proposal. Details on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And I have this one which says Yobe, Benue, Anambra senators clash over farmers' headers crisis. Why are they clashing? What's the problem? You can get the details on page 3. A bandit killed 46 persons, raise homes in Plateau State. Details read on page 28. Court quashes tenure extension for Rivers local government chairman. Details read on page 7. And finally, from the Guardian newspaper this morning, fresh nationwide strike looms in varsities over ASU's demands. Details read on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. That's going to be the size of the headlines from the Guardian newspaper this morning as Antonia takes us through the next paper.
All right, we'll be looking at the Nigerian Tribune. Court nullifies amendments of local government laws by pro-Wike lawmakers. And we'll have a rider underneath that. Assembly screens confirms 8 commissioner nominees. That's on page 3. Minimum wage, that's the kicker of the next headline. Again, Labour rejects federal government's 54,000 naira offer. Meeting continues today. So from 48,000 naira
to 50,
we're at 54,000 naira.
They should just take it to 100. What are you waiting for? Antonia say above 100 anyway.
Above 100, yeah.
But then
100.
I said if it is 100, it's not too bad, even though it's not the best.
Yeah. We hope that they said the meeting continues today, so by the end of today we should get a new resolve.
Pray.
Yeah. So the big story on the Nigerian Tribune: tougher times ahead as CBN raises interest rates to 26.25%. We'll have some riders underneath that. CCPC, NECA analysts decry rate hike. Nigerians facing unbearable times due to your policies. ACF tells Tinubu. That's on page 2. Away from that, and I totally agree with this, the price of things constantly increases. It's on the rise. And seeing all of these rate hike is more like the different sectors in Nigeria are on a hike spree, so to say. Electricity, everything. Senate in fresh bid to end herder farmer conflicts. That's on page 3. Kano Assembly amends Emirate Council Bill, amends speculation of Sanusi's return. That's on page 2. Court dethrones traditional ruler in Ondo after 29 years Obaship tussle. That's on page 8. Bandits kill over 40, raise several homes in Plateau community. That's on page 27. And 2027, that's the kicker of the next headline. Atiku Obi united by mutual desperation. This is coming from the APC. Says Nigerians comfortable with Tinubu. Wow. This on page 8. Nigerians comfortable with Tinubu.
Whoever wrote that is the only person that knows what the person wrote.
Yeah. It's ironical.
Okay.
It could be.
Let's take it that.
But that's you. That's you. Some other persons may be comfortable, as the case may be, because this is a country of millions.
Yeah.
All right.
Over 200 million.
Over 200 million. So some persons may want to say they are comfortable.
Sir,
all right.
Not me. Some people are building estates every day as Tinubu came into regime. So people are.
So that's what I was saying. So anyone can just get a page or maybe go to a media house and write whatever they want to write.
No, but the first part is coming from the APC. And the rider underneath, that is giving you more information to that headline, says Nigerians
So
comfortable with Tinubu.
that
This
statement is coming from
the
APC. All right. So what else did you expect? Let's just go.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Michael, let's take a look at the next papers. Ramsey said, what else did you expect?
Well, yes.
We're expecting the next papers from you, Michael.
We're expecting them to go and price fufu in the market. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Antonia.
this guy.
All right, straight to the Vanguard Wednesday. The kicker, inflation battle. CBN raises interest rate to 26.25% OPS protest. We have 4 riders to that story. MPR hikes pose danger to economy. That's from Nasima. NECA highlights negative impact on investment and inflation. Additional burden for businesses. CPPE. There is no magic wand. Cardoso. That is on page 22 of the Vanguard. And away from that, minimum wage, Labour federal government meeting adds in deadlock. That story is seen on page 5 of the Vanguard. And we have 4 kickers to that story. Federal government 54,000 offer wage reduction. Labour. Federal government 54,000 offer is wage reduction. That's from Labour. And no governor in attendance. No governor in attendance. Meeting to reconvene today. CDWR calls for mass action. You can see other story in page 5 of The Guardian. Reforms will eliminate waste corruption. That is from Edu on page 10 of The Guardian. And away from that, Edo Goba, Oyofofo, Limi Kena, Ogiadonge, Omobayo mobilized for Igado assure victory. I can't understand why people are mobilizing and assuring the man of a victory. Are they going to carry the ballot boxes on the day of the election?
This is Nigeria. And
anything can happen in Nigeria. Trust me, sir. All right, away from that, gunmen kill 40 burn houses in Plateau community. Details of that story is seen on page 9 of the Vanguard. Columnist Nana Ohemere, 16 Usman Sariki, and we have Finidi. World Cup target keeps me on my toes. That is seen on page 39, sports section of the Vanguard. That is all we have from the Vanguard, sir. Straight back to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. Let's quickly look at the Punch newspaper this morning. Above the header, I have this headline which says Tinubu okays $750 million for rural electrification. Details read on page 19. Naira slides pushes Dangote diesel to 1,100 Naira per litre. Details read on page 20. Reps panel to probe faulty presidential aircraft. Maybe they are trying to do this now because of what happened in Iran. Probably. We heard of what happened to the vice president's aircraft, while he was traveling.
The president's life was claimed in that.
While he was traveling the other time, that was Nigeria. Then what happened in Iran is the president and some of the presidents who lost their life as a result of this. I don't want to call it carelessness because it could be mechanical, it could be anything. All right, details read on page 11. Minimum wage, that's the kicker. Meeting adjourned as Labour rejects fresh 54,000 offer. Details read on page 2. Then the big story says a 26.25% interest rate. That's the kicker. Then the big story says a private sector fears loan repayment crisis. Then just one rider to that story coming from operators, which says a previous interest rate hikes killing businesses. Okay, 1.5 trillion naira bad loans may rise as a result, and that's coming from operators. Medical tourism spending fails by $5.24 million. Central Bank of Nigeria. The central bank is coming out to so much these days, but I think what Nigerians are after right now is how the Naira can appreciate. They are doing their best at a particular point in time. It appreciated, then before we knew what was happening, it went back again and started depreciating. Details read on page 2. I didn't start governing fully until this February. Guess who is saying this? The governor of Rivers State, who has been having a lot of issues with the FCT minister talking about Wike. Details read on page 14. And finally, from here, Oyo Assembly approves Makinde's 10 billion naira loan request. Details read on page 11. Well, if he's doing well and he's taking loans, there's no problem. But then I think they should try and repay all the loans they are taking before they leave office so that their successors will not find it difficult governing. And that's going to be the size of the headlines this morning. From here, we want to go on a quick break. After this break, we'll return and we'll talk about something very, very important as the private sector fear loan repayment crisis. My name is Ramsey, and this is Antonia right here, and Michael. We'll return after this break.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. Well, as a matter of fact, it is obvious that in this part of the world, they don't tell you everything that is associated with loan taking. But then, during repayment, you go do like this. Do you know what I'm talking about? Especially when the inflation of a particular country is not stable. Welcome back from that break. Let's talk a little bit about this big story on the Punch newspaper, where it's been said that private sector fears loan repayment crisis. Even you, apart from private sectors, everyone is scared when it comes to payment. You know, when you're taking it juicy, you're smiling, but then when it's time to pay, even ordinary borrowing 10 naira
from your neighbor,
200 naira from
somebody,
neighbor, from your colleagues. When it's time to pay, you say, this money, if I carry this one, you go, but you just got to pay because you took it. So let's talk about it now. Number one, let's look at the economic situation of the country, which has forced this loan repayment percentage to increase. Then you also think about the common man. You and I, who don't have much, who is at the mercy of the economy of the nation. Well, a private sector had to pay a loan. Maybe initially it was supposed to be maybe like 1.5 repayment. Then later, because of the inflation, it gets to 2 or 3.5. Don't tell me that the man who owned the business will also have to increase the price of his product or services so they can meet up. Antonia, what do you think about this whole drama? You are in Nigeria, no? We are all here. We are all in it together.
The way you say you are in Nigeria, no?
Yes.
Like I forgot at some point.
I'm an Israelite.
So
Please,
you're having
don't say.
Let's leave Michael for now. Okay, looking at everything, Ramsey and Michael, it's just like we said earlier before we went on the break, where it's more like different institutions in Nigeria are just on there's a hike in this, there's a hike in this, and this is owing to the economic situation of Nigeria. Some weeks back we saw that the naira was increasing in value, and now we are back to that point where the naira is now over 1,500 to $1. And seeing the CBN coming out to increase the interest rate is going to also affect businesses, because if you've collected a loan during the time when the interest rate was lower, now that you're repaying, you'll be repaying with this higher rate. That is to say, businesses that are already shutting down due to the economic situation, they will not be able to meet up. Most businesses will that would be like automatic fold up because you can't meet up. Yes, they would have dropped collaterals, but in this time and age, how many businesses are actually thriving? How many businesses are actually moving forward? A lot of things are happening. The security issue is there. It's more like every day we see on the papers, bandit attacks. So many things are fighting businesses in Nigeria. And now seeing this interest rate, and that's why the private sector, the OPS, they are coming out to say, this is a lot going on. How do we cope with this? Where do we go from here? And saying that the previous hikes is killing businesses. How much more this? The way both of you are doing.
No, it's pathetic because at the end of the day, the common man in that rural area who goes to the market or who is at the mercy of the economy is the one that is going to be faced with hunger. And you know what hunger does to the people. Like Antonia was saying, Michael, this is so many things fighting businesses in Nigeria. Today, it is one policy or the other. Tomorrow, it is interest rates hike. Tomorrow, it is fuel hike. Next tomorrow is electricity tariff hike. Everything in Nigeria is hiking. The only thing that is not hiking is salaries.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's deplorable.
So,
it's appalling.
It's appalling.
We're meant to have simultaneous hike on everything. Salary, hiking everything. But then when Olayemi, the governor of Central Bank, Olayemi Cardoso came out just yesterday evening and talked about the focus of the MPC being stability in the price, or that CBN is trying to cushion the effect of inflation. They talked about month-on-month moderate rise on month-on-month
Basis.
basis. But then there was a significant decline on food and core things that actually affects the economy. That means that inherently means that the common man in society, it is affected significantly. What I mean is, sometimes you go to banks, it is juicy, they tell you, okay, we have loans for you, you can do this, start a business with it, and you're very excited. An average Nigerian does not take sweat or take time to digest the nitty-gritties and the attainment of the loan.
The terms and conditions, because they will always tell you terms and conditions apply.
They'll just say, where I go sign?
Where I go sign? And then you just go home and then, by the time, inflation does not have to knock on your door to tell you how far we're about to. In April, there was a significant month-on-month increase. But then if central bank is saying, okay, we're trying to have stability in price, the focus is have stability in price so that the common man will not be affected. We all know the prices of commodities in the street,
market, yeah.
Food and commodities in the street, because you talked about food and core things that affects the common man. If there's a significant decline, that means it's affecting the common man. Because if I borrow and I cannot repay, what do? You have to sell your properties to repay. The collateral might not be commensurate to the. Sometimes you give a collateral, and then banks, when they come for your neck. I saw a shop, Babi, at AP just around Abuja, that was confiscated because court told them, after you borrowed a long time from the banks and the interest has risen significantly that the owner could not pay. When I got this loan, the interest rate was minimal. It was payable. But now, after some years, you notice that the rate at that time is not the same at which you're going to pay in a few years' time. So if you can digest the nitty-gritties of the entailment or terms and conditions of the loan, you understand that, hey, you're paying so much by the time, and you'll be held to your neck. You don't just want to go and get loan. But interestingly, most big establishment businesses in Nigeria cannot thrive without getting loans. That is the gospel truth.
That's one thing.
That's the gospel truth, yeah.
All right, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Antonia. Well, this is so, I don't know, but then she was saying, why are you guys doing, So it's more like, for everybody that have taken loan, private sectors that have taken loan. I think it's more like at this very particular point in time, because now there's nothing you can do about it. Michael said, if inflation is coming, it doesn't come to knock at your door and say, well, next year I'm going to come. You know, what's inflation does is it just come as a bang, bam. It just come and you don't have any option anymore. But then I think Cardoso and every other person that can do something, to minimize this inflation should try and do it. We are a nation. We can't just keep crying about inflation all the time. Something should be done. There should be times when Nigerians will say, oh, what an economy. We are proud to be Nigerians. It is possible. It is achievable if all hands it's on deck. Well, this is going to be the size of the big story for this morning. But then I think what we would want to say is if you're taking any loan, know the kind of loan you're taking and know that inflation can hit at your door at any point in time. Well, thank you, Antonia. Thank you, Michael. It's been a very wonderful time. I really enjoyed myself on the program. Viewers out there, this is the march we'll be taking. Tomorrow is another day. We'll come on your way again with another topical issue. But then, whatever you're doing, make sure you're civil and contribute your quota to the country, to this nation, so that we can be the great nation that we always dream of. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Bye-bye for now. We'll see you again tomorrow.